Good morning. It's Vijay here. Today is probably going to be a Wednesday to remember. We are on 7th May 2025. Welcome to yet another episode of Pre-Market Commentary. As I mentioned, that this will be a Wednesday to remember because I'm sure all of you have heard the news, which is shock and awe. This was inevitable. I've been speaking about it that we will have a targeted attack, but not a kinetic war, which many people are thinking. Even today, there are warmongers who are expecting a war to start, but based on my analysis of the past, I don't think any such thing will happen. But I think what the Indian security establishment has done is to create shock and awe in the enemy, and it has been very precise across the board. Nine terrorist locations have been identified and have been bombed out of existence, calling it Operation Sindur, which is a very, very apt way because many people were widowed in the 27, 26 people who were killed. These nine sites have been targeted, and what is important is no Pakistani military facilities have been targeted, which is, a precursor to an end of this episode logically. But of course, in war, you don't know, what happens. We will discuss about that fog of war a little later. The good news here apart from this, somewhat intriguing news about the Operation Sindur is the UK government and India have signed FTA, which means 90% of the tariffs will be, there will be reduction of tariffs on up to 90%, 85% of lines to be free from India tariffs in a decade. India tariffs on whiskey and gin to be cut to 40% in a decade. From 150, it has come down to 75 immediately. Then India deal to cut car tariffs to 10% under a quota. So this is a very good news because this UK India FTA was in the works since 2022. So this will help quite a bit of trade happening, and I think this will augur well for the markets. What we need to look at as to what happened to the earnings scorecard. Yesterday, HPCL, KEI, Aadhar Housing Finance, BSC, and MGL have reported very good results. Paradeep Phosphates, Paytm, and Godrej Consumers are so. Weak results are Kansai Nerolac and Piramal Enterprises. Kansai Nerolac was expected because economy is still tottering. It has not yet come to full blast. If you look at the numbers, you look at more updates are good and weak updates are fewer. So I think we are on a path to recovery, notwithstanding the tension on the Indo-Pak border. So what happened yesterday, of course, may not be very relevant today, but just for the commentary sake, Nifty snapped a two-session gaining streak. In fact, yesterday the market was tentative through the day, and in the last 1 hour, the volumes almost where 50% of the day's volume happened. I think probably people expected some action, and there was a free-for-all selling in the last 1 hour. Bank Nifty lost heavily, mid caps, everything fell 2.5%, 3%. Adani stocks fell 4%. Even Reliance could not help. So PSU Bank was the top loser, probably because of the scandal in Indian Bank, where they bought 7 crores worth of book of the disgraced chief economic advisor, Mr. Krishnaswamy, and so that has pulled down all the PSU Bank stocks. When also Bank of Baroda gave a profit warning. Then we have Nifty Auto was the only sectoral gainer because they were expecting the UK India FTA. So that is as far as India is concerned. FIs continue to buy. They bought close to 3,800 crores. DIs sold about 1,400 crores. That means another 2,400 crores. Net which has been sold by the retailers, and the ultra high net worth individuals have been absorbed by the FIIs. Please note, FIIs, this is the 14th day 14th consecutive day where they have been buying. Global equities, they were smashed, especially Dow Jones was close to 400 points. S&P also down significantly, and Nasdaq also. FTSE was the only one which escaped going into red as far as Europe is concerned. CAC and DAX also fell significantly. As far as commodities are concerned, Brent flared up because again some issues with Iran, and gold also had flared up, which is very interesting. It went up about 3,400. 3,500 is the recent peak. So it's now corrected a little bit to trade below 3,400. Silver also went up above 33. Silver is in a narrow band between 31 and 34. Mostly it's between 32 and 33. So nothing happening there. Copper held steady. So did zinc. Now, is this what is? Is it a game changer? In my opinion, it is not something which will lead to a kinetic war between India and Pakistan. When I say a kinetic war, it means troops, getting into Pakistan, fighting hand to hand, and army being involved on a let's say full blast. So that I don't think will happen. This is a warning to Pakistan. This clearly the Pakistani establishment will take note of it. Incidentally, the government of India has kept everybody in touch. Marco Rubio of US has already tweeted saying that they know what's happening. Even Trump has been put in the loop. So I don't think this will escalate any further because India, in its wisdom, has not given any scope for any escalation because they only attack terror targets and not military targets. However, the tempers will be very high. There will be a lot of volatility in the market. People will short sell. And, sometimes people say it is unpatriotic to short sell. I have always believed that short selling is one technique in the market. But in cases like this, in a national emergency like this, I think it is unpatriotic to short sell. And especially when you know what has happened in the past, when people have short sold. Take this case of the Uri attack. After Uri attack, the markets fell some points on the Nifty, but then significantly it went up. This, when the market was very bearish, this is 2016. So if you observe closely on Uri attack day high, it fell down for a few days, about 6 days, and then it took off from there to make a new high above the Uri high. So this is our past experience. In fact, I've talked about how markets behave during wars and terrorist attacks. And 2 weeks ago, it was well received. You can have a look at it. That it talks about 7 different instances. Here, I'm giving example of Uri, where it fell down for 3-4 days, and then it took off after that after 400-point fall. Then the other one was the Balakot airstrike in 2019. It almost created the low, just above the low, and from there it went up 800 points. And this again, the markets were a little bit nervous because of the elections which were due the next month. That was in March, April. This happened in February. So even in Balakot and Uri, which are the latest attacks and where we responded, the markets have shrugged it off and started going up. And this one is a bigger attack, but still I believe that they'll shrug. So I am not so concerned about the markets. I will definitely not short sell, and I will definitely not sell. And I don't think one should get hassled by what the Pakistani reaction is. This is what I call the fog of war, where people will react. People say that plane has been shot down, this plane has been shot down. I don't think that is believable. Anyway, you will get the government of India response by around 10 o'clock in the morning. But fog of war is where people will spread all kinds of rumors. This is not going to be surprising if they spread rumors that so many people have been killed. That is from the Pakistani side. They'll spread that rumor I'm talking about. India is very clear what they have done. I would rather believe India in this one fully rather than even have a doubt of what Pakistanis say. A lot of people on the social media will talk about that thing. This thing happened. So what I would recommend is keep calm and carry on. Things will only get better. India is in a far better situation. So not that we have to really worry too much about Indian economy or Indian defense forces. We're far superior. So whatever you do, I hope it is successful. Thank you for joining.